Welcome back, everyone. This is the FloTrack podcast. Happy Monday. Subscribe if you haven't yet to the FloTrack podcast YouTube page. Send us an email, FloTrackPodcast@gmail.com. Remember, Guess My PR, Internet Coach, some segments that we've been doing. We started last week, actually, on those. So if you want to participate, send it in. On Friday, we did the Doha recap pod. This is going to be primarily about those NCAA Conference Championships where we had, as expected, a lot of top-notch performances, a lot of very interesting races that are going to set the stage for the NCAA championships. Gordon, good morning. How are you?
Doing good. Uh, Great weekend all around, track and field wise. Exciting stuff. Not much else to add. Yeah, I don't have any interesting quidbits or tidbits or things to say. Um,
Let's
yeah,
get into it
I
then,
don't
huh?
know. Let's just get right into it. Yeah, it's a
Let's get
track and
into
field
it.
podcast. Let's get right into it.
Yeah, we're going to jump around with basically, I don't know, 8, 10 of the best performances. 12. We might extend it after that. But let's start first at the SEC championships. We got the much anticipated race between Favor O'Feely of LSU and Abby Steiner of Kentucky. And it went to O'Feely. She wins the 100 in 10:93, comes back, wins the 200 in 22:04. Very close races, very competitive races, but O'Feely shows why she is the collegiate record holder in the 200 and shows why she's been so consistent this whole outdoor season. Just a very impressive run for her, and probably a big confidence boost heading into the last stage of this season.
Yeah, and also was a member of the winning 4x1, so pulled off the
Mm,
triple. Um, LSU has a history of having this happen a lot at SECs. Terrence Laird pulled off the triple. I believe there was another guy. I think Nathaniel Mitchell Blake might have pulled off the triple a few years back. But LSU and 1, 2, 4x1 SEC trifectas, it's a common thing. And yeah, Favor Philly, after breaking the collegiate record, was it now a month or so ago? She has
mhm.
not missed a beat. This was the big challenge, right? This was the big unknown. All right, let's see what happens when you go up against the NCAA indoor champion. And she met that match like to perfection. It wasn't even
Mhm.
close. I mean, 1093 into a headwind. It's legit. 2204. That's legit. So it's not like it was like
Mhm.
weird result type wins. No, they were like true wins, true fast times. She went 3 for 3, and I we get to see him. Hopefully, we get to see him race again at the East prelims. I don't think we will. They'll probably be staggered in different heats,
Mhm.
but I do know that in a month from now, it's the stakes will be higher, and there's going to be even
Mhm.
more of an attention on the 200 and the 100, and we'll see if Abby can respond. I think Abby has just as much of a chance to win NCAAs, but Ophelia has equal chance. Like they're now. I mean, I went into this race considering Abby Steiner the favorite. Now I come
Mhm.
out with Favor and Abby are co-favorites. You can't just dismiss Abby Steiner's season yet because, you know, again, second places and running the indoor collegiate record, it's got to count for something. She split, we'll talk about that. She split 48 seconds on a 4x4. So it's not like Abby is
Mhm.
like off the chart, but Favor
No,
now
no.
has to be legitimately considered as the favorite, and rightfully so. She got her wins. She has the time, and now she has her wins, and now we'll see what she
Mhm.
can do in a month or so.
She's just been so consistent, and that's why
Right.
I disagree a bit. I think Ophelia should be considered the favorite. Beginning of April, 11 flat. The Tom Jones meet, 2196. End of April, 1090. Now it was a plus 4.2. All right. A week later, LSU invite, 1093, 2.0, and then 1093 and 2204. Like, she is that type of runner. She is a 10, 10-9 runner, 21-9 runner who, when you put her in the championship season, can potentially even go a level up. You talked about the history of LSU. I mean, just think of the women's side recently. Think of how many 100-meter champions they
Yeah.
have: Richardson, Hobbs, Micaiah Briscoe. Just recently, you go even farther back, it's insane how many times um, the women have won the 100-meter title. So pretty interesting stuff there. Pretty cool race shaping up as expected for the women's 200. Let's stick with the sprints. Melissa Jefferson of Coastal Carolina goes out at the Sun Belt Conference Championship 10.88. We've seen a lot of wind aided times this year, Gordon, but this is the fastest wind legal time in all of the NCAA. You were there indoors when she won the 60. It was considered an upset. Don't think it's an upset anymore.
Yeah, you'd want a lot of times there are flash in the pan indoor performances that don't really pan out outdoors. And there was thought that maybe Melissa Jefferson wasn't gonna be able to translate to the 100 that well. I mean, look at our six. What's the so who was the one the female who the Polish woman who ran
Ava
well in the
Sabota.
60? Yeah, Sabot. She hasn't been doing much on the outdoor season yet at all. So you kind of have to look at 60 times with a grain of salt. But
Mhm.
Jefferson now, 1088 legal,
Yeah.
like that's
Number
the real
5 all
deal.
time.
And you have to consider her potentially. I mean, she won 60 indoors. She's run 1088 outdoors. You are the favorite. As weird as it is, normally you don't see athletes from the Sun Belt, Coastal Carolina world being the sprint heavy favorites. But, you know, after indoors, she ran 11 flat, 1108, 1108, and now 1088. You talk about
Mhm.
consistency for favor. Melissa
Yeah.
Jefferson's doing the same thing, but even now at a faster pace. Look at this one tweet by Coach Goodman, Carl Goodman. High school PR for Jefferson, 1203, and now 1088. Go from 1203 to 1088. Almost
Yeah.
a second and a half off your time in a
Yeah.
100. It's insane.
Yeah. And you're right. Not everybody's able to move from 60 success to 100-meter success, but man, we have an interesting women. I mean, the women's 200 is going to be awesome, obviously, because we think it's, as you mentioned, Ophelia and Steiner. But the 100, there's so many women who have run fast marks this year. Now, a lot of them have been windy. Jefferson's wasn't, and she's right in there. She's right in there. But I think it's a completely wide open women's 100-meter race. Um, yeah, I watched this race too. It's like you'd think with a little more competition, right? She can go up. I mean, she wasn't really pushed, fair to say, in this one. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, the Sun Belt.
it's
So,
well, it's just different. It's different between this and an SEC championship, right? She
yes.
won 1088 to 1122. SECs, it just feels like you have to run a PR. You have to put up an all-time top 10 mark almost to win an
To make a
SEC sprint
final.
race. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah. This is a bit different for Jefferson, right? So maybe that competition could take her up even another level. We can see something even quicker. More sprint stuff, more women's sprint stuff. That's our lane this morning, Gordon. Let's go to Big 12s. So Julian Alfred of Texas, uh, she goes 10-8 in a prelim, right? 10-8
Yep.
in a prelim, and then comes back and then does it again in the final. Her prelim time, though, um, wait, so wind legal. So she was okay.
Yeah.
Correction then. So Jefferson's 88 isn't the fastest
Correct.
wind legal. See, here's the issue. No, I'm looking at T-First and they put the final time in there and they didn't put the semi in there. Why would they do that? That's crazy. Hmm.
What are
All
you
right.
looking at?
This
What do you mean?
T-First.
What?
T-First.
That's not true.
Yeah, they have 1083 with the 2.4 on there. They don't have the 1081. My apologies. Delete the entire segment that I said
I
before.
don't have that. I see 1081 on my list.
I got Barnes. Let's see. Hold on. Women's 100. Let's fix this real quick. Let's see what
It
we got.
says 1083
Barnes.
because they have to round it up because of altitude conversion.
I know, but look at the right side and wind. It says 2.4.
Yeah, because 1080 is faster than 1081.
Oh, okay. But they're keeping the windy ones. Dang, messed it up. My apologies. In any event, fast in the prelim, fast in the final. Three other women, uh, also sub 10.9 here. I mean, just incredibly quick marks, as you mentioned, at altitude in Lubbock. So another person that's in the mix for
All
a
right.
100-meter title.
So you got Favor and Abby. You got Julian Alfred now running 10.8s. You have Melissa Jefferson running 10.8s. Kemba Nelson, she was good. Kemba Nelson's run 11 flat, but Salira Barnes, she ran well at the Texas Relays. Windy, what's your pecking order right now? What you're seeing right now are the win legal marks on the screen, but what's your pecking order?
Yeah. Good. I like to win legal ones. Let's keep it all in one spot. Well, two for the two or the one.
One.
Okay, one. I mean, I'm not going to discount Ophelia at all. I think she's in there, but I kind of like Jefferson because we know she's a big meet runner. She ran against a lot of these women indoors in the 60 and came out with the win, and now she's got a fast 100 PB. So I'd put her one. I'm looking at your top 10 right now: Steiner,
This was
Jefferson, Alfred.
pre-SECs for the record. These rankings are from before SECs.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Favor will move
Let
up.
me let me rephrase. How many do you think can win the 100?
I think 4 women can win. I think Ophelia, Jefferson, Steiner, and Alfred can win.
Okay.
And I think that's fair.
I mean, those other, as you mentioned, those other Texas women were moving, and Texas Tech women. Kavana Davis, 1088, and then Rosemary Chukwuma, 1088, 1083, and 1088 for those two. But I agree with that list. Four,
Yeah.
four women. All right. Let's go to the men's side for a moment here. Let's talk about the 2 and the 1. That just seemed to be a hot topic this weekend. Joseph Fonbele, Matthew Bowling, got to see them race again, which is always a lot of fun. Bowling gets the win, though, 20.01. Got out to a good start, put the pressure on Fonbele early, which is what we expected. And the deficit was just too big this time, Gordon. There just was not enough track. Fonbele, again, got off to that slow start, rallied, but against someone like Bowling, it's pretty tough to make up that ground. He goes 10-13. Bowling earlier in the 100 got fourth, I believe, behind Favor Ash. So was out for a little bit of redemption here, but a good win. A good win. I mean, we know how good Fonbele is.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of remember that viral Fonbele win over Bowling earlier this year, where he had the awful start and he kicked down Bowling and won it on that Florida track. Uh, Bowling has been consistent this year. He hasn't done anything flashy yet. He hasn't done
Mm-hmm.
anything like whoa, like the way some of the women have, but he's been
Mm-hmm.
consistent, and I kind of like where he's at. I don't think he's ever going to be doing well in the 100. I don't think the 100 is his wheelhouse. I think he's more of a 2-4 guy. I really think he
Mm-hmm.
should just be maybe a 4-2 guy, not a 2-4. Like focus more on the 4. But he's going to be in the mix in the 200. I mean, Javante Harding, he ran all right this weekend at his conference championship. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but you run 19.9. There's not many people doing that at the college level. Obviously, when you get to beyond the college level, it's a whole different world. So Bowling may
Mm-hmm.
want to stay in college as long as possible, stay away from those big guns at the pro level. But yeah, I think, hey, we had a lot of expectation of Bowling going in indoors. Didn't work out. I don't know why. I mean, it's maybe unrealistic expectations to say one guy is going to like do 4 different events and be top 3 in all
Yeah.
4 and just change the game. But like, I think he's kind of staying low key. He doesn't win the SEC 100, which is fine. He gets 4th, but he does win the 200. He beats an Olympic
Mm-hmm.
finalist in Joseph Fambula.
Yeah.
So he's setting himself up to hopefully have a good NCAA outdoor championship this year. We'll see what he can do.
Hmm.
I think if he stays focused and doesn't kind of ignore the noise, I think he can find a way to get his first NCAA championship.
Well,
You there?
I thought you were going to zag and say he should do the long jump 400 double.
I mean, did he jump the long jump at SECs even?
He didn't. He did not.
Yeah. I think that's a good move. Maybe you should stay away from the long jump. It's
You
a
also
distraction.
you also took an NCAA title away from him. You said his first title. He won indoors. You're talking about
What did he win?
the 200 last year?
He won that? He won
2001?
the 200?
Man, see, the wind readings
When did he
got me
win?
confused, but at least at least I remember
When
who
did he
won.
win? He's won an NCAA title? No, he hasn't. Has he?
Yeah, it's 2021, man. Last year. You weren't there at
He
that
did?
one, so maybe it didn't count
No,
because you
I
weren't
don't
there.
believe you.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. See, you had me questioning everything I knew about track and field. I got one little wind reading thing all screwed up in my head, and now my confidence is gone. I'm like the Phoenix Suns in the first
Guess
quarter
that's true.
yesterday.
All right, first
Completely
outdoor
lost.
title. How about that? Change it up. First
Yeah,
outdoor title.
yeah. Colt's gonna have to edit around that one. Whoops, sorry, Colt. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's go down in distance to the 100, and we can broaden this to answer the question that you asked about the women, which is who are the favorites. But we had two really good sprint doubles: Makai Williams of Oregon and Makai Harris of Texas. Harris wind aided at that Texas Tech track 993, and then 1972. Makai Williams was 993 20.01. Which one do you think was better?
I mean, Micaiah Harris. You ran 19.7, dude. Like, come on. Micaiah Harris? I know it's at altitude and it's a lot more windy. But Micaiah Harris,
3.8.
definitely, first of all, who has a better way of spelling their name? And what happened with Micaiah Harris with the way they spell that name? Because let me tell you, that looks like a typo. I don't know about you, but Micaiah looks like a typo. Feels like there's an extra I and an extra A somewhere in there. They need to fix the way he spells his name. I like the way the man from Oregon spells his name as opposed to the man from Texas. No, but 1972 and a 200. That's, again, it was windy and it's at altitude, but that's what Olympic champions run. I mean, that's what Noah Lyles just ran, So I think that 19.7 from Harris definitely puts it over the top. And should Harris be a sleeper for making the world team, the 200 now?
I think he was always in the mix last couple of years. We talked about him since 2019. I think each of them impressed in their non-focus event. So for Harris, it was dropping down to the 100 and running that fast. I mean, the 19.7, yeah, it's like, whoa. But I knew, when you factor in the wind and the altitude, it's like, all right, that's in line with what this guy is capable of. Makai Williams, I thought it was impressive to run 20.0 in the 200. We know how good he is in the 100. His start is just one of the most entertaining things to watch in track and field. Makai Williams, he gets out so quickly. So I don't know how I would. I know Burnett pulled up in that 100, and then in the SEC 100, I don't know if anybody really distinguished themselves. So I think coming out of this weekend, you look at Makai Williams being the 100-meter favorite.
When you look at World Athletics, they find a way to kind of calculate wind-aided marks and headwind marks to kind of just rank them. Right now, Knighton's 19.49 is number one. Number two is Lyles' 19.72. Number three is Fred Curley's 19.75. Number 4 is Michael Norman's 1983. And then number 5 in the freaking world is Micaiah Harris's 1972. So,
Are they putting altitude in there too?
yeah, they
Just
keep
win.
track of all that. Result score. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's calculated.
No,
Partly.
he's a great 200. He's a great 200-meter runner, and I would put him in there with Bowling and Fanbele in the 200. That's what I'm saying. Each guy going and excelling though in their off distance, the 100 or 200 was a good sign for both of them. Do you agree that Williams is the 100 favorite now?
Yeah, Williams is the 100 favorite. But I wanted to change this conversation to Harris might be making one of the hardest world teams to make, which is the men's 200 for the U.S. And I think we're
Yeah, I think he's in the mix. I
underappreciated.
don't. Okay, who's he beating? Is he beating Knighton?
No,
Is he beating Curly?
no.
Okay, so then there's
You'll get
one
the third
spot
spot.
left. So it's
You get the third
is
spot.
him versus everybody. Yeah, it's just long odds because you have one spot left. If you can
I can
already
see him beating Kenny
you can
Bednarik right now. Bednarik hasn't done anything.
okay. Well, it's everybody though. It's not just him because when you take away two of the three spots already, Laos has a bye. Remember that's challenging. If you're already saying two of the three are spoken for, then it's just one other person that needs to
I
do
don't
it.
know.
I think he can.
I would take
I think he's
Harris
good enough.
over a field of Bednarik, Coleman, Isaiah
I don't think Cole's going
Young,
to run it.
Kyrie King, Cravon Gillespie, just all the other sprinters I can think of in that 200. The NCAA athletes.
Mhm.
I don't know.
All right, let's keep it moving. We're going to come back to the sprints in a second to close, but let's do a little distance break here. Caitlyn Toomey at the ACC Championships just put on her foot on the gas and then did not let up at all. I mean, this was a statement race at a conference meet. We've seen people do this before. We've seen people run really quick at conference championships. Even when everybody just says, "Oh, it's just about winning. It's just about winning. It's not about time. It's not about margin. Just to get the victory." We've seen people try to go for it, but to run 4:06 from the front, PR. I mean, that makes you think, which event is she going to do? Now we know how good she was in the 3 and the 5 indoors, and I think back to Penn, right? Obviously, very disappointed in that 4x15, but she ran this 15 the same way she did there, which is she just went for it, right? At Penn, she didn't wait. She didn't play any games. She didn't try to outkick anybody. It was just like, I'm going to go. I'm going to run my 1500. And she ran, according to the splits we have, faster than she'd ever run before. And in this race, she goes 3 seconds quicker than that. Like 4:06 that's getting down there, Gordon.
Yeah, she definitely ran with a lot of rage from that 4x15 from Penn Relays. It was all pent up emotion, and she let it all out in the ACC final because she did not. I mean, she was in it. She basically threw down the kick. She was still like neck and neck with second place with a lap to go.
Yeah.
It was all in that
Yeah.
final lap that she destroyed the field. That gets a good question though. Should she do the 1500 at NCAAs? You could see the argument for it. We will find out soon that this week is when you make your official declarations. So I think we'll know by like Wednesday or Thursday what she's choosing to
Mm-hmm.
do. She probably will. Not sure if the 5K 15 double is doable. You might be able to enter both and then scratch one when you don't make one or the other. That might be a thing. I'm not sure exactly. But Tui, man, she continues to improve. There always was, I mean, she gets this question a lot. There's always that big worry like, will there be stagnation from your high school phenomness, right? And I think when you look at the two high school phenoms on both the men's and women's side, they both kind of started out slow. I'm talking about
Yeah.
Nico Young and Caitlyn Toomey, where the freshman year, they kind of didn't do anything too crazy. Nico Young doesn't qualify for the outdoor championship. Caitlyn Toomey's dealing with some injuries. They're not winning cross-country title. Like, they're not like winning individual races that often. But now, as both these high school phenoms are in their sophomore/third years at their school, believe third year now. Yeah, right. 20. I
Hmm.
don't know. Second year, I guess. Second year. COVID's weird. They now have had a really good job of being steady and slow progression. So now you could argue Caitlyn Toomey and Nico Young are like the future of NCAA track. They might win titles this year, but they're going to be the overwhelming heavy favorites going into next year once all the seniors leave, which is the
Hmm.
great progression that you want. You want to be able to have that base from a phenomenal high school year and translate it into legitimate titles. Grant Fisher didn't win his first title to sophomore year. He, you know, now
Hmm.
Nico Young's running 13-10. Nico's not gonna win this year, but could win next year. Caitlyn Tuohy's probably gonna win her first title, maybe this outdoor season. We'll see. If not, she's 100% gonna win it in 2023. And he just kind of like how these coaches have been able to take these talents and not waste it and trust the process, trust the time, trust that they have 4 to 5 years under their tutelage and they're able to translate well. Caitlyn Tui is, look at that, 406, right? If you would have told someone after 2020 when Caitlin's hurt that she's going to run 406 her sophomore year, you'd be like,
Yeah.
all right, I'll take that. And
Yeah.
now, and that's what you need to do. You need to be a 406 to 4 flat runner in order to be a great 5K runner anyway. So it shows that she's setting herself up for, you know, 4 years down the road when she's trying to make world teams. You need to have speed.
All right. You said trust the process. That means it's time to move on. Let's go back to SECs. I want to talk about that 4x4 for a moment because we know A&M had the women's collegiate record last year. Thing Mo, part of that team. This meet produced a classic. Kentucky breaks the collegiate record, and there were just some ridiculous splits. Britton Wilson of Arkansas, who we're going to talk more about in a moment, split 48-6. Steiner split 48-8, and Cherokee Young of Texas A&M split 48-9. But it was Kentucky getting the win. But every one of those main teams had a sub 49 second split. Alexis Holmes anchored it for Kentucky. You know, their coach, Coach Green, is like big on the 4x4, going back to his, even the Purdue days, right? When USC caught Purdue, it was his team there who was hanging on, trying to get that 4x4 title. So it's something that he's always wanted. So this is shaping up to be an amazing event. But that was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to see um, those three teams collaborate for that ridiculous of a time. So 321.92. Texas A&M a tenth of a second behind, 322, and then Arkansas, who ran ridiculously fast indoors. I mean, they had a great race. It's just that happens, and it seems like it happens a lot at SECs. It's like you run an all-time mark and get third. It's just
Yeah.
part of
I
it.
mean, Arkansas is the indoor record holders, right? Didn't
Yeah,
they break
yeah,
the indoor record this year?
yeah.
Yeah. 3 teams all running 322 or faster. It's insane. All in the same conference. Insane. We'll get to see them all again for NCAAs. I mean, I mean, maybe we'll see a 320. I mean, we're slowly getting closer and closer to a sub 320 for the women. I mean, look at these
Hmm.
marks. Kentucky, A&M, top 2 all time now. It's wild. So, pretty cool.
Yeah, I asked Chris Johnson about that after indoors. That he's the Arkansas coach because they ran. What do they run here? 324 at SEC, 324 low. And I was thinking about A&M outdoor last year. I was like, do you think 320 is possible? And at least it's in the I don't remember what he said. I have to go back and watch the interview. I mean, he wasn't like absolutely yes or absolutely no, but um, it's in the realm of possibilities, and that's like crazy to have. You're averaging 50s at that point, right? To get to
Yeah.
320. So that's just I mean the most teams are lucky to have one person who runs that fast. Um, so is this the outdoor list or the indoor list, Travis? That we have up right
It's
here.
the outdoor list.
Outdoor list. All right, can you pull up the indoor one? I just want to see the how many of that top 10 is like the last couple of years
Oh,
because
it's
it feels
insane.
like it's yeah, the depth. Maybe it's just more people congregating it at the power programs that's causing it. Um, I'm not sure, but
We lost
It's
Travis, for the record,
oh
so we're not going to be able to pull anything up.
oh. Well, who's moving the cursor there? I see the cursor
It's
moving.
not. It's
You think it's a
he.
ghost cursor?
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
looking at a
ghost. No,
cursor moving.
it's not. He's not there anymore.
Hmm.
For those who don't know, one of our producers has a meeting
Click.
halfway through our podcast on Mondays and Wednesdays, so we only get him for the first 30 minutes.
Shh! Don't say that. Oh no! See.
It is.
No, but he's
Someone's
not
scrolling.
clicking indoor. He's not clicking it.
Is that you, Colt?
No,
I think
that's
it's
not
Colt.
me. That's not. No, that's
Colt
not
has
me.
Colt's
That's
commandeered
Travis
the
still.
pod.
That's still Travis.
And
I don't know what's happening.
he's head faking me. He keeps. I want him to click the indoor button, but he's not clicking the indoor button.
It's fine.
Is it though? Yeah, sure. Okay. Britton Wilson, your pick for a Bowerman finalist. Made a good case over the weekend. How about a 400 flat, 400 hurdle double at SECs? How about that, Gordon? 50.05 and then 53.75. And then you want to throw in the 4x4 with that 48-second split. She had herself a weekend. You could put her right up there with Ophelia's 3 titles.
Yeah. Is the 400 hurdle double possible at NCAAs? Because that would be crazy if she did that. Having to run 4 400s, I guess technically 6 if you're also doing the relay. It would be insane in like a 48-hour period.
I mean, we'll only check the schedule on that one. But, I mean, this is what
It's
you
definitely
thought
not
was possible, though. Because you were talking about her, as the Bowerman finalist. Did you think? But was that just mostly on the strength of the 400 hurdles?
Yeah, it was on the strength of the 400 hurdles. But the one reason why she probably isn't going to win is that she's going to be forced to compete with a mark that Sydney McLaughlin put up. Seems a little unfair. So she can run a great 400 hurdle, but so you're not breaking the collegiate record. And it's going to be a lot easier for, I think the women's 200 meter collegiate record is much weaker than the women's 400 meter hurdle collegiate record. And so Wilson kind of has a little bit of a disadvantage in that situation, so.
Let me just say this, though. I looked it up. I believe this is the most updated schedule. They're 25 minutes apart. I don't care what time she runs. If she wins both of them, give her the Bowerman there. Don't even have a ceremony. Just have the Bowerman and give it to her. If she can win those 2 races 25 minutes apart.
How far away were they apart at SECs?
Yeah, I don't see. Now you're asking for a lot of schedules. Because here's the thing. The women's 400 in the NCAA is pretty good this year. It's going to take a solid time to run. And 400-meter hurdles.
They were an hour and 20 minutes apart.
Yeah.
No, they were an hour apart. They were an hour apart. She did an hour apart at SECs.
Yeah. If she does it 25 minutes apart. Again,
hold on, wait.
Give her the Bowerman.
Wait, let's think about this again. At 6:05, she ran 50:05. Then at 7:05, she ran 53:75 in a 400 hurdle.
Yeah.
And then at 8:30, she splits 48 seconds. That got to be the greatest 3 laps in a evening ever. Did she low-key just do the greatest evening ever of track and field? 50-0, 53, 48, all within like 4 hours.
Yeah. Did Sydney ever
30 for 30 on that?
Triple? Did Sydney ever? She didn't triple her year at SECs, did she?
Again, 50 flat, 53 seconds, 48. I don't think anyone has ever done that before. I think you need to find Statman John, and he needs to figure that out and be like, has this ever been done before? Because it hasn't. That's never been done before.
I'm putting out the Statman John bat signal to figure that out. Yeah, McLaughlin, she just ran the 400 hurdles in the 4x4.
Yeah. Again, 50 flat, 53. She ran 53 an hour after running 50 flat.
So you're saying she might triple? Is what you're saying?
I'm just saying that's more impressive than what Favor Philly did. That's more impressive than what Micaiah Harris did. That's the most impressive performance of the weekend. That is the most impressive performance of the year. That's more impressive than Ari Knighton's 1949.
Keep going.
It's the most impressive thing I've ever seen. I think it's the most impressive thing I've seen while working at FloTrack. That's more impressive than Safan Hassan's almost triple at World Athletics Championships at the Olympics.
Keep going.
That is more
Moon landing?
impressive than
Everest?
Cheserek's indoor triple.
What?
That's definitely
We
more
finally
impressive than
found
Cheserek's.
something that for Gordon is more impressive than Edward Cheserek's triple.
That is more impressive.
We've
I'm
searched
sorry,
far
but
and
like
wide.
that is more impressive than Cheserek's indoor triple. 400-meter runners don't do this. They don't run 400s that hard out this close to each other. Yes, you will see a 400-meter runner be able to come back from an open 4 and then just rip a 4x4 split.
Mm-hmm.
But like you do not see this. You might see a 2-4-4 where they 200-400 double and then they close to the 4x4, but you don't see 4-4-4. Like you don't see that. Like that's the most impressive thing that's happened in track and field. I'm sorry. Name something more impressive at any level. It is. Guys.
I mean, I would still take the Safan Hassan almost triple, but that's just NCAA wise though.
Do you think Sydney McLaughlin could do that?
Sydney McLaughlin now or Sydney McLaughlin in college?
Sydney McLaughlin now. Run 50 flat, hour break, run 53 in the 400 hurdles, hour and a half break, run 48 seconds.
Yes, I do think she could do that now. Because you're talking
Do you
about
think
a
she
400
would?
hurdle time. She's a 51-second 400-meter hurdle runner. So I think she could do all that. Yeah.
Yeah, but like
it only counts if you
the
do
amount
it.
of
You could talk about all the hypotheticals
just take a
you
lot out of
want.
you, man. You don't recover that quickly from 400s. Like
Yeah, her recovery is incredible and good time to plug right now. Workout Wednesday coming up, featuring none other than Britton Wilson. Doing what, Gordon? What do you think we got her doing?
she did the greatest triple ever. And now we have
the workout.
What's in the I don't know what's in the workout. I haven't watched it.
So I said, guess. What do you think she did?
400s? She does 3
Yeah, she was doing 400. That's what she does. I think she actually did 4. Maybe 4? It was 3 or 4.
Maybe this workout's what set her up.
You got to watch the workout is what I'm saying.
We have a time limit on this pod, but that's fucking incredible.
Wow. Okay, Gordon's just getting.
Well, I don't know why you're not as like thrown off. Like you seem like it's not that big of a deal. You're very
No,
like,
I knew it was a big deal. That's why I knew it was. You're just like coming to the realization that it's that big of a deal. That's why I said if she does it at NCAA's, give her the Bowerman. I just 25 minutes though is a lot different than an hour. So it's pretty tough.
Yeah.
Right? Especially, I mean, she could jog through the prelims, but Knight from Virginia is pretty good. 400 hurdler. I mean, Wilson's now half a second faster this year. But if you're tired, right? And then on the 400 side, you got Williams and you got Young, et cetera, et cetera. Like she would need to be like, 90% to win that race, I would guess. And 25-minute turnaround is tough. Like you're finishing your race and then basically going directly to the call room, right? At that point.
Yeah, you just stay on the track. Drink some Gatorade.
Yeah, that's a bit different than an hour. But
like I didn't even get to see it live. I missed history live because I had no idea that she was doing a triple and running that fast in those 3 times. And it's not even the triple. Like people can do 400s, but it's at your third one being a 48-second one. It's like, all right, what are we doing here? Come on. It's not like she ran 50.9, then 54, and then split 50.1. She, she ran world-class times all 3 levels. 53, that's the fastest time in the world right now. She ran the fastest time in the world in 400 hurdles.
Yeah. Why don't you have I'm looking at your
My rankings are pre-SECs, bro.
Yeah, but Knight from Virginia, you don't have her in there?
They're pre this conference. She probably didn't run well up until this
No,
weekend.
Drake. She ran fast at Drake. Is she redshirting? Mm,
The rankings wrong.
I think she. No, I think she might be redshirting.
Yeah, there
Because
you go.
there's nothing. I
Yeah.
saw her at she was at Drake, but not at Okay, but here's now I'm looking at your rankings now. So you have Russell 2 in the 400
And
hurdles.
these rankings we shouldn't really be looking at because
I'm just looking at names. I'm just looking
yeah,
for
one of
names.
the biggest.
Holmes. You have Holmes, Simon, Williams, Diggs. So yeah, it would be difficult, but I saw Knight's name up there. I mean, Knight had it must. Oh no, she ran at Mount Sac, not at Drake. All right, let's keep it moving. I'm just gonna run through other college stuff. Faber Ash 10:04, Garcia Romo 3:36 beat Kipsack collegiate record by 2 seconds. Vissa ran 4:08. Trey Cunningham 13:13. As I mentioned, Stacey and Williams 50.2. Big 12's also had a really good women's high hurdles. Roswell and Nugent. Zeller of Michigan 13:19. Maybe a challenger for Cunningham. Maybe, possibly, potentially. And then collegiate record in the men's discus out at Cal from Mykolas Alekna, 68.73. A couple high school results I want to get to before we do kick of the week. Anything else on college?
No, that's it. I could talk about Britton Wilson again if you want me to do another 10 minutes, but we'll save that for a bonus pod. Again, I think we're underestimating how crazy what just happened is.
Mm-hmm. Kick of the week time. Actually, no, let's not do kick of the week yet. Sorry, Colt. Sorry. High school stuff. Two high school performances in the distance side I want to talk about real quick. Natalie Cook, 9:48, 3,200 at the Texas State meet, where I'll just say the conditions were not that great. Hot this weekend in Texas, but just 1 second behind Caitlyn Toomey's record of 9:47 and 3,200. And then Gary Martin of Pennsylvania. We saw him almost break 4 minutes in the mile at Penn Relays. He went to his district meet, 3:57.98, becomes a 14th boy to break 4 minutes. What do you think? Thoughts?
Gary Martin's 357. It's kind of wild. He did it in a random district meet. He won by 20 seconds. If you told someone 8 years ago this would happen, they would be like, wait, what? Guys running 357 in a district state meet by himself? That's crazy. But here's the crazy thing. When I ask you who's the best high school runner on the men's side right now, it is who?
Colin Solomon.
Colin Solomon, right? Should we be thinking maybe Gary Martin should be in that mix? I looked it up. They've only raced once. They've only raced once in their entire high school career. It was in a cross country race that Colin Solomon won. It was so. Gotta take that off. But like, you look at Gary Martin's times when it comes to the 8 and the 15 and mile. It's better, if not better than Solomon. Solomon clearly has the better 2-miler and 5K cross country prowess. But like, Colin Solomon has yet to run 357 in a mile. Colin Solomon was 148. So is Gary Martin, I believe. Like, Colin Solomon's the one who's getting to go to Prefontaine mile. Meanwhile, there's this kid from PA who's like throwing down 357 solo. Basically, what I'm saying is, how do we get Gary Martin to race Colin Solomon?
Do you think that because high school is now like so serious and in some cases mimics a pro schedule, we zoom past some of these potential battles that were in a previous generation we might have seen? People might have been talking about this more. This might have been like the Arcadia featured matchup.
Yeah.
But it just became assumed, oh, these guys are going to run it pre. Like this, like, it's weird to me that they're really that they haven't raced. Because you go
I
back
mean,
to,
one lives in California, the other one lives in Pennsylvania, so them racing
yeah,
is not
Ryan
going to
Hall
be.
lived in California and Alan Webb lived in Virginia, right?
Yeah.
And we
Well, the
saw
reason
them, and
why
then
is
Ritz in Michigan, and then now everything. There's so many different meets. There's people are on so many different schedules, but I just feel like I don't want to be back in my day guy, but like you would have had that interest the whole year of, hey, are these two guys going to square off? Maybe there's just so many people too now. There's so many kids capable of running this fast that you don't know
No,
who
I
it's going
think
to
it's
be.
the fact that Newberry Park is kind of zagging away from a traditional high school schedule, which is what's causing
Okay.
this. If Newberry Park was staying more traditional with their high school scheduling and running mainly high school type meets, then we probably would see them match up because they would probably be like, yeah, we're going to Brooks PR. We're going to race Gary Martin
Yeah.
at Brooks PR. But they're not. They're going to be like, we have bigger fish to fry. We want to go to
So you think it's a
Prefontaine.
Newberry thing?
I think
It's
it's
a
a
Newberry
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think yeah. So, but it's going to be interesting if we look back on this year, like 10 years from now, and it'll be like, who ran the fastest mile in 2022? And you'll be like, oh, yeah, it was Colin Solomon. It's like, actually, no, it's Skiff and PA. Gary Martin. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. It reminded me of German Fernandez at the state meet in California. Now, state meet in California versus this district meet in Pennsylvania, different, but Fernandez won that 1600 by 9 seconds, and then he won the 3200 by 24 seconds. It was just like just dominance. Because basically, if you're winning by 5 seconds from the gun, it doesn't matter if you're ahead by 5 seconds or 50 seconds. There's no one near you.
It's the same experience.
Yeah. If you can't hear him, you can't see him. No one's helping you get that pace going. It's pretty straightforward. All right. Kick of the week time. Kick of the week. Went to the high school ranks here. Let's show this video. So anytime a hurdle race pops up as going viral on track Twitter, I'm always a little worried. Is it going to be one of those where they just hit every single hurdle and then fall down? And in this case, there was a fall from Abigail Dennis of Old Tappan. But what happened next, Gordon, will shock and amaze you. Stayed on her feet. Great come from behind win at the Bergen County Championships. I think it's the kick of the week. You rarely see the hurdle.
I don't think
there's
there's ever been a kick of the week in a 100-meter hurdles.
But this
is
has
the
got to
first
be
of
it,
all
though.
time.
Look, stumbles, then goes all the way down on the second hurdle. Third hurdle, it's rough, and then she gets into her rhythm, and you can see she's the class of the field. I just think this is the time for a hurdle kick of the week. I don't think we're ever going to get a better opportunity than this, and I thank the Bergen County Championships for providing this race to us.
She looked good when she got back up, and she was like, she had good step.
She's rolling.
She was like moving. I mean, she got the win because the person she was chasing faltered, I think, on the 9th hurdle. So that kind of gave her an opportunity to close the gap a bit more because she had to be flawless. But it's kind of wild to see that. I'm like, 100-meter hurdles, they're less than, high school level, what? They're 14 seconds long. You fall, you got to make up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty wild. Yeah, that was a fun kick of the week. I would love to see that happen at the pro level, but I don't think it's ever going to be possible. Maybe in a 400 hurdle. Maybe in a 400 hurdle, if Carson Warholm were to fall on the first hurdle of a 400 hurdle, and he's in like a semifinal, so Ry Benjamin's not there and Dos Santos isn't there. Do you think Warholm could fall in the first hurdle and still qualify for a final?
Explain fall.
Okay, it's the process of going from standing to on the ground. He hits the first hurdle and he falls. He stumbles.
Like all the way down.
Yeah, his hands touch the track. He does one roll, and then he gets back up.
And this is what? A
semifinal.
Prelim?
Semifinal, yeah. You know what? Let's say first round. We'll say first round. First round of Blowouts in Eugene.
Yeah. I think he could do it first round. His rhythm, your rhythm would get so thrown off. Hurdles are like unlike any other race out there because then you got to how do you get your step pattern back?
Well,
Because you could
this
jump
high
over it,
school
but then
kid figured out a way to do it.
yeah, no, that's this should be her college essay right here. It should be They should be a link to the race
Yeah.
because the essay prompts: show me a time in your life when you overcame an obstacle. How did you handle it? What was the obstacle? She should be like, here, check out this video. This is me doing it. Because that's rare to be able to get back in that type of rhythm. I think he could recover in a first round. Because I think he's good enough to where he could just totally screw up his steps and he'd be fine. Semi it might be tricky though.
Yeah. Semi would be tricky. I would love it for an athlete to be so good that they purposely like mess with the field by falling, or like the girl in the last week's Kick of the Week lose their shoe on purpose, just to show like I am so good, I can do whatever I want in the first 10% of this race and still beat y'all.
Yeah. Yeah, I
We'll
guess
have to wait for that.
ever since the Kentucky Derby horse said the greatest comeback, we had the 7-year-old who lost the shoe, and then now we have the Bergen County Championships with
Things happen in
tennis.
three.
So
Things
I
happen in
guess
threes.
that's it. Yeah, just an amazing run of comeback. If you're a fan of comebacks, it's been a great week, a couple weeks for you. Checking in on the chat here before we move to the last segment here. What do we got?
Are they talking about
Gordon,
Britton Wilson?
you're
'Cause they should
just
be.
being joking now, like seriously. I don't even know what that's in reference to.
That's probably to my Britton Wilson. They probably think
Yeah,
I'm
Mike says, "What are you talking about?" Julian Alfred, sure ends 1081. Follow. Yes, I screwed that up. Mea culpa. Screwed it up. The times got mixed in my head. I'm gonna blame it on the fact I have 3 kids, and I thought both of them were wind dated. I'm sorry. More
two of your kids are
people.
wind dated.
Yes, 2 of the 3 are wind dated. Caitlyn Toomey fan says she said she will not run 1500. I would like
Okay.
to see her run the 15. So it would be fun to see her run the 15 because her race plan would be so clear. It would be like at ACC, just to the front and go. And I think that would be kind of cool just to see who could match
Yeah.
her.
Do you
Like,
know who I want to see
I
to run
love.
the fit?
Hmm.
What?
Go ahead.
Do you know who I want to see run the 15 at NCAAs, but won't?
Hmm.
I want to see Abdi Hamid-Nur run the 15.
Oh, I thought you meant in the women's race. Okay.
No, wouldn't that be kind of cool though? If you would do like a 10K
I was
1500 double.
the Safan Hassan.
Yeah, why not? He could do it. He could jog a 10. He could definitely do a 10K 1500 double, and then let his NAU boys take over the 5K.
Yeah.
I think Abdi Hamid-Nur, low key, you should look at my US rankings. I think Abdi Hamid-Nur is the 3rd best 1500 meter runner in the US right now.
In the U.S.
Yeah. Name 3 people better than him in the US right now. Races on Friday. Name 3 people who run faster than him. I can only name 2.
Wait, do you have him number 1 in the NCAA?
No, because he's not going to run the 15. I have number 3 in the US. Dude, you look at the 1500 at the US level, Craig Angles isn't doing anything. Yard Nagoose is hurt. Henry Wynn hasn't seen him. Colby Alexander, who ran out of his mind indoors, he hasn't run. Sam Prakel, Josh Thompson, I'm not banking money on those guys. Hobbs Kessler is nowhere to be found. Centro hasn't run yet. There's been only 2 consistent 1500 meter runners. One is running the 5K, Cooper Tier. The other one's Cole Hawker. Like,
Wow.
Abdi Hamid-Nur's run 336. Wow. Look at who he's lost to. He hasn't lost to anyone relevant. He knows how to kick, and he's run 13.0. Like, he can run a 5K. So, like, clearly he has that world-class type talent. I low-key think he has a better shot at making the 15 than the 5. There's no way Abdi Hamid-Nur is beating 2 of the Bowerman boys, Cooper Tier, and Paul Chalimo. He's not beating 2 of those guys. But I can see him beating 1 of Cole Hawker, Centro in the field. Yeah, 100%. He won't
More
beat
impressive,
Hawker, but
Nur triple or Wilson triple? more impressive?
Well, Nerd's not doing a triple. A 5K, 10K, 1500 triple, that would be
You
more
laid it
impressive.
out
No one's
pretty
ever done that.
clearly.
No one's
You
ever
laid
done
it out
that.
pretty clearly. Okay, not a triple at NCAA's, a triple at USA's. I guess it'll only be a double because the 10,000's a 4.
Low key, dude, Abdi could freaking make a U.S. team this year in the 1500. The 1500 is weak as fuck. He can make it.
Whoa, again, with the explicit label.
Okay.
We don't need all
You know,
that. All
just
right,
saying.
we get it. We understand it. Last segment, it's Monday, so I do if this was track. Look at another story from sports and apply it to the world track and field, and I wonder, what would happen if this occurred in our fair sport of track and field? And today's topic, I'm talking about Game 7s, because we had 2 Game 7s in the National Basketball Association yesterday, and those are typically exciting games. But we got 2 absolute blowouts. And my friend texted me last night and said, what's going on with the NBA? What is going on with the NBA? These games are supposed to be closer. They're not the most beautifully played games, typically, but they're usually close. Now, track and field, we have Game 7s, right? That's finals, winner take all. That's exactly the same sort of mentality and intensity the track and field fans are used to. Now, do we have blowouts in those finals sometimes? Yes. Do we have close races? Yes. And I would argue the blowouts, while I think they are kind of a problem for the NBA in terms of ratings and getting people tuned in, because I don't know how much you watch of those games, Gordon. Combined, I maybe watched 15 minutes, and I'm a very big NBA fan. Just wasn't into it. They weren't close. But I would contest that not only do track and field fans not mind blowouts, we love blowouts. Some of the greatest moments in track and field come because of blowouts. I'm thinking about Usain Bolt, 2008 Olympics. The celebration, the fact that he was ahead by so much, I think made people enjoy that more. Now, of course, track and field, we have the clock, right? So we have the context of it being a world record so we can enjoy it even more. But then you think of other races. A Thing Mo, she didn't break the world record at the trials or at the Olympics, but she still put on a show. She dazzled. Now, Keely Hodgkinson was close, just like David Rudisha in 2012. Remember David Rudisha? Led wire to wire, broke the world record. Nigel Amos was there, but that race was never in doubt, just like A Thing Mo's race was never in doubt. If you go back to the sprints, Elaine Thompson-Herah, we thought it was going to be this battle between Thompson-Herah and Fraser-Price in Tokyo. Was it close, Gordon? No, it didn't end up being close. Did anybody really care afterwards? Did anybody say, man, I wish this race was closer? Now, it helps because it's 10 seconds or 2 minutes, right? NBA games, they're longer, several hours. But I can think of another person competing who we don't mind watching blow people out of the water for 2 hours. And that's Eliud Kipchoge, because we all love watching Eliud Kipchoge. Has he had a couple close races in his career? Yes. But in most instances, they have been big margins of victory where we just marvel at the man, even if he's running a slower time. We don't care just because we like to see track and field greatness. So I don't think track and field will ever have a problem with lopsided competition. We have the clock, we have the record book, and we have the ability to just marvel at individual greatness. And we don't put down the competition either, right? When the Mavericks blow out the Suns, there's a million podcasts about what went wrong with the Suns. When Eliud Kipchoge wins, it's not like, hey, what's wrong with the 30 other elite athletes in the race? Why couldn't they contend with Eliud Kipchoge? No, all the attention goes to Eliud Kipchoge. All the attention goes to Rudisha, to A Thing Mo, Usain Bolt, to Elaine Thompson-Herah. So I think track's in a good spot here where we love the blowouts.
Counter?
Fair. Hit me with it.
You may love blowouts, but nothing is better than a photo finish.
True.
Like, I would take a photo finish 10 times out of 10 over a blowout. I would take a photo finish over a world record blowout all the time, because that's like they're coming down the track. Like a photo finish in a 1500, that's like, come on. You're seeing them with 200 meters to go. You have no idea who's going to get it. Seeing, Allison Felix and Shawnee Miller-Weibo, and Miller-Weibo dives at the line with that iconic moment. Like, I feel like that trumps any blowout. And so, while yes, our sport doesn't mind blowouts because we can still enjoy the Bolts, Kipchoge's, the Thingmos. But at the end of the day, you want to watch track and field live for that awesome photo finish moment, or for that
and we
come
got
from
2 good
behind
ones.
moment.
And we got 2 in particular good ones last year at the Olympics. It wasn't photo finish, but the 2 400-meter hurdle races, right, were fast and historically good. I just think it's interesting, though, because I was thinking back, all right, what are the track and field memories I have of watching? And a lot of them were those
Bolts.
one-sided races. Yeah, the Bolt race, because Rudisha, again, he pulled everybody to PR, but once the gun went off and he took control, it was just a 2-lap victory procession for him.
I'm going to
That's
zag
what
one
it
more
was.
time. I'm
Sure.
going to zag again. We're zagging one more time. Here's the thing, though. Game 7s are not the same thing as finals, because Game 7 means that there was a back and forth 6 times beforehand. Like, Boston won
More
3
context.
games. Milwaukee won 3 games.
Yeah.
So they both were losing and beating each other. So you expect it to stay close, because if they're going to go 3 versus 3, you think that the final game is not going to be a blowout. So in this situation, it would be like during a regular season, you see the same athletes race each other, and there's constant like, all right, you got me here, then I got you back. And there's like a back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
So you expect it to be close, and then one guy pulls away. You're like, well, that's like, imagine if the 400-meter hurdles races that we had at the Olympics, imagine if those were blowouts. We would kind of be a little disappointed. If Carson Warholm blew out Rai Benjamin, and if Sydney blew out Dalilah Muhammad, we kind of be like, that's awesome, but like we wouldn't be able to remember it as like an all-time race, because you want that second place finisher to be in it. The same way you want the Bucks and the Suns to be in it in the fourth quarter, not turning it off and watching reruns of Friends. So
I guess the only thing
that's the change.
Yeah, the only counter to the counter there is just that's why I thought because Fraser Price and Tom Snow did race each other a couple times last year. Like, there was actually like some history, so I did think that one was going to be a little bit closer, over in 10 seconds. But All in the Game mentions Kendall Ellis walking down Oregon and Purdue was memorable.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that would be one. I mean, I was there, and that was the last race at Old Hayward, so I'll remember the USC Purdue 4x4 for sure. So, all right, that's it for the show.
Subscribe.
FloTrackPodcast@gmail.com. Yeah, send in guess my PR, because we're gonna do that again on Wednesday. So email the show with workouts that you've done recently, and we might pick you for the segment. Travis might follow up with requests of like photos, because we had the video, which helped us last time, and then we had the photo, which didn't help us at all for the second guess. So I want to get better at that. I want to get better at guessing the PRs after last week's second one, which is way I still apologize to the guy who wrote it in. Told him he ran 33.
You threw me off with your perspective, so I blame you for my failure.
Yeah, we should not. I mean, I want to talk it out, but I feel like I need to like think about it first. 15, 20 seconds of silence, which is great for podcasts, where I just actually like look at the information and think. Or maybe I'll talk it through, but
maybe we need like Jeopardy music or something while we're thinking.
Maybe Colt, who's a classically trained improvisational comedian, could do like 30 seconds. His best 30. Colt, what's your best 30 seconds like these days?
It's a tight 30. Do a tight 30.
I don't think you guys understand what improv is if you're asking me for a tight 30.
I throw a scenario to you, right? All right, here's the scenario. You have to fill in 30 seconds in a podcast.
No.
Go.
Oh, no.
or we say like a
You-
random word, right?
You and an old lady walk into a grocery store needing a carton of milk.
Okay.
There's one carton of milk left. Go.
Okay. Is anybody else playing in this scene, or is it just me? Like,
No,
am
it's
I
just
gonna
you.
talk to
It's your
myself?
thoughts. It's what's going on
This
in your
is not
head
how it. This is
when you
not
see the old
improv,
lady
guys.
walking towards the milk. What's going
All right,
on
you're
in your
on.
head when you see
Yeah.
the old lady
You're on.
walking
Whose
towards
line
the
is
milk?
it anyway?
Right.
You're on whose line is it anyway? And someone prompts you with a really good question, and then you fill in. We'll work
No,
on this for Wednesday.
I want
What
the
is-
carton of milk scenario. I want to know.
Okay.
You think, oh, I gotta you gotta like run
I
her
think
down. And take
I'm
the milk? Where
faster
you
than
going?
this old bag of bones. I can get there before she can. That's what I think.
Exactly.
See, that's perfect. But we just need 30 seconds of that.
But then
All
as
right,
soon as
I'll-
you get the
I'll work
milk,
on it. I'll
guilt
work on
comes
it.
in, and there's shame. It's like when
Yeah.
the dog catches the car. It's like, I regret this decision.
Should have been.
Are
doing
there
this.
solo improv games, Colt? How does
No.
that work?
Improv
No,
is
literally not.
innately two people at least.
Well, you
Oh,
can
wow.
have solo improv
Yeah.
if you have personality disorder, right? Or was it dual person? What's
Maybe you can talk to the
multi-personality?
maybe you can talk to the YouTube comments during that time.
Oh.
Well, maybe that can be
Oh boy.
like choose your own adventure improv. Press 1.
That would be fun.
Do you have any
We can figure
do you have any
something out for that.
impersonations? You know any voices? Can you do like a good no?
I can kind of do Elizabeth Holmes, but that's not probably appropriate for the podcast.
Theranos. I
Wait,
like
really?
that.
Yeah.
Let me hear it.
Do Elizabeth
Or do you wanna
Holmes.
save
We'll
that?
end it. Sign us off with Elizabeth Holmes telling us to like and subscribe, and then end the pod for us.
Like and subscribe to the podcast. They think you can't do it, and then you do it.
All right, that's it. Thanks a lot, Colt. Thanks a lot, Theranos. See you guys.
See
on
you guys
Wednesday.
Wednesday.